Hi, welcome to Help with Hannah and Calvin. I'm Calvin Reed.
I'm Hannah Jones, and we are here to answer your questions. This podcast is brought to you by Little India. This is a beloved local family-owned restaurant with 4 locations throughout the Denver area and a coffee shop. Some of my favorites on the menu include the chicken korma, tamarind margarita, and all the samosas. If you live in Colorado, you should make this place a regular stop, and if you're visiting our great city, be sure you don't miss Little India. Visit littleindiadenver.com to find a location near you.
And thank you to Dude.EK Studios in Denver where we are recording.
We have a guest in the studio today. Once again, she is 1/3 of Firecracker Comedy. They have an upcoming show at Union Hall in New York City. It's Gabby Gutierrez Reed.
What's up?
Woo. Thank you for being here, Gabby.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to have you in the studio. How's your week been?
My week has been good. I went to New York, and it was super fun. Yeah, I ran a show at Union Hall, and then we're having another one.
Oh wait, that just happened.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
we
but
are
it's
having
happening
another
again.
one. Yeah,
Is it monthly?
I hope so. I think
That's so cool.
they liked it, and they gave us some other dates, and so we're gonna be back there July 3rd.
Sick.
And I probably won't, because I live in Denver. I probably won't go back every month, but I'm going back in July. So I'm excited to do that. It's kind of crazy. I hate flying, but I'm actually getting more used to it because
Nice.
of comedy. Yeah.
The New York flight also isn't as bad as it seems.
It's not from Denver. It's
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah, it goes like kind of quickly. I don't know, because I'm also not a big fan of flying, and I was nervous the first time I flew to New York, and I was like, oh, wait. This was not as bad of a flight as I was expecting. Like, I just thought it was going to be way further and worse than it was, and it's only like 3 hours. It's not too much turbulence.
Yeah, not too much. Just the right amount of turbulence. Just
Enough
a
for
little.
you to be like worried, but not die, and I think that's special.
And that's so important.
It makes you appreciate what you have.
It does. Like, you should be grateful for life every single time you fly.
Yeah.
Because it's about to, you could just not at any moment.
I think about that all the time.
I don't get scared during turbulence because I'm grown up and I'm not a pussy.
Whoa.
But
Jabs.
recently, the last couple of flights I've been on have had like crazy turbulence, like to the point where you have to like tighten your seatbelt to not like fling out of your chair a little bit. And everyone is just like gripping the armrests, except for if you're like, I was in the aisle seat, so obviously the middle person gets both armrests. Sue me. I believe the middle person gets both armrests.
No, I
okay?
agree with that. Yeah.
The only exception being that if you're on a window seat, you could like trade off a little bit. But aisle, definitely, I get the aisle every time. I don't deserve an armrest. I'm like gripping them both like this, and like it was so scary, and I had to like put my phone in the pocket and shit so shit didn't fly everywhere.
What?
Oh, that is actually a worse fear. I get a little bit of turbulence and I start like praying and being like, please don't let me die today. Like I have too much to live for.
Yeah, that's awesome
My
for you though,
ex
that you have
was-
so much to live for. Wow.
My ex was kind of like that, really scared of flying, and it made him cranky, which is kind of the worst possible effect.
Yeah, you're
that
like,
could
great,
have."
we're flying. Now I have to deal with this asshole.
No, I like turbulence. It makes me feel like I'm doing something big and important.
Yeah, you're literally up in the air, defying gravity. I think. Yeah.
So you were in New York.
Yeah, it was fun. I rode the subway. I'm getting more used to subways. I wouldn't say I like love it on the subway, but I like it now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Great.
It's cool. Nothing that weird happened. I'm
That's
trying to
good.
think. I got randomly hit on, but it was so weird. I stepped into the train, and then this guy was like, I like your shirt. Who are you? Where are you from? Just like all these. I was like, this person, I was like, what do you do? And he's like, finance. And I was like, of course, you're just a salesperson. You just like literally every person that steps on the subway, you're like, do you have a minute of your time?
New York is the only place I get hit on. You know how everyone in New York loves to be like, I'm a New York 5, but I'm a Midwest 10. And it's like, bitch, No, everybody's hotter in New York because in New York that everybody's a freak, so everybody is just way into the one thing that they're randomly into, and so if you have like good style, like that shit counts in New York, or if you're a comedian, that shit counts in New York. I feel like in Denver, everyone's into pretty much one thing, and if you're not that thing,
Yeah,
then
hiking.
you're yeah.
I
Rock
agree with
climbing.
that.
Well, like a natural beauty who's like very, very skinny and white and but yeah, I like New York for that reason. I understand that for New Yorkers that can be quite overwhelming, but I love walking down the street and feeling like the prettiest belle at the ball.
I've gotten hit on by more attractive men in New York too than I ever have in Colorado. And like
Whoa.
on Grindr, oh my gosh, I can go to the hottest guys and they're gonna come right back, and it's like,
The
where is
dating
this?
app thing
Yeah.
is crazy because you have to set your radius to a mile and you're still getting blown the fuck up and you're like, oh my
There's
god.
so many people in that 1
yeah,
mile.
But the mile is like all of Denver.
It's so great. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so hot. I got so many
You're like,
menses, and then
yeah. I was like, what the heck? It just like really surprised me because I literally didn't say one word, and I was like looking at my phone, like, so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. He's like, good, she's lost, and I don't know. I'm like, what is going on right now? It was and then when I was like, I'm good, he just was like, okay, see you later. And then he was like,
King,
wait, what's your
respectful
name?
king.
Yeah. He still had to get my name for some reason. And I got his name because I was like, if you know my name, I have to know your name.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah. If there's a.
Did he like try to follow you? Did he try to find you? Is
No,
that
no.
what the name was for?
No, I have no idea why. Because he was like, okay, bye. Wait, what's your name? And I was like, Gabby. And
Did
I was
he
like,
think he'd see you on the same commute frequently?
was like.
Was it
yeah.
commute time of day?
Possibly. Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
But he left. And I was
He's
like,
going to get on the
"Okay,
subway
bye."
every day with his fingers crossed, waiting for that short girl to be back.
For
Until
me
July,
to get rejected
he has
again.
to wait a month.
Yeah.
1 month.
You get back in July and he's like, Gabby. And you're like, oh.
Oh, I'm gonna remember because his name was like Guhan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Was
very
he cute?
specific name. I would say conventionally, probably.
Make
Yeah.
him pay for your flights.
You know
If he's a
what?
finance bro in New York, he could probably afford it.
Maybe this is my chance to find a sugar daddy.
I always support that.
Guhan, if you're out there, sorry, Guhan, if you're out there and you have money to spare, which you do, I know you do,
Yeah, he's a finance guy.
give me that money.
Cute. Calvin, how was your week?
You know, it was good until on my way here, I did drive the wrong way on a one-way street, and it did make me think I was gonna die for like, and it was 100% my fault. I was just like, I'm gonna turn left, and then I was like, why are all these like, where's the yellow line? Why are all these cars facing the wrong way? Like, this is crazy. And then I'm like,
You
wait,
keep
Calvin.
driving though.
And then I had to like do like a 5-point way to like turn around, but it was
No.
like really like closed in because I had to do it in like a parking area, and there was a really hot guy just staring at me doing it the whole
No.
time, and a Muna song was on, and I was like, this isn't the energy I want right now. I got just very anxious for like 30 seconds. I'm fine now, but
You made
that
it out
really
of
got
there.
me. I haven't-
Not beating the gay people can't drive allegations
Literally,
today.
I haven't done that in years since like high school was the last time I drove the wrong way on a one way.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So rough times for sure. I was scared for a second. We made it out.
I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're okay.
Yeah. So that just had me for like.
Sorry the hot guy wasn't looking at you, but
No,
on the-
he was looking at me just with disgust at like this.
right.
idiot.
Sorry, he was looking at you.
Yeah, we made eye contact 4 times.
What?
Each point of the turn. 'Cause
Oh,
I was like, I
Calvin,
can't not look
I
at you.
think you might have been turning around too slow.
I think
No, I was just like, I was stuck in like a parking spot because I turned into the parking lane thinking like that was where because that's where the cars weren't going.
Yeah.
It was like less than 5 minutes from the studio. Like you guys definitely drove by the same street on the way here. And
my God.
looking, I was like, oh, there's the one-way sign I just didn't read. This is awesome.
yeah.
Trauma.
Maybe you were connecting with him and
He's good
his
to think
facial
about me.
expressions are not. He's like one of those people that like what he's thinking is not showing on his face.
And I'm hoping, yeah, because what was showing on my face, I did say I want to kill myself each time I made the point turn and looked at him.
Very normal.
If you wanted to
though, when
kill
you're-
yourself, don't turn around. Just keep driving straight.
Literally.
going, hey.
Oh my gosh. And it was like the kind of rush hour traffic. So like there kept on being cars. And I was like, one of you is going to have to let me try and turn around or else I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
Good times.
You just brake and you honk. That's what you do.
No one
When you
honks.
see the person, no one. That's really nice.
Right? I think it's because they could, if anyone looked in the front
Yeah,
windshield,
they were
they
like,
saw me
"He's
just like,
stressed."
like literally like crying. It was great. Hannah, how was your week?
Not amazing.
No.
For the listeners at home, yes, I've continued to have my period for at this point like 2 months straight.
Holy fuck.
And it doesn't feel good. And I got my hormone panel back.
Okay.
And everything's normal.
What?
That doesn't feel correct.
They're like, it's
So
just in your
true.
head, but there's a physical representation for it.
Placebo. Like what?
Yeah, and I think my friend is mad at me. But I did have an epiphany today. You know when your friend is kind of like acting a little weird and you're like, they're mad at me, but they're not saying anything, they're not bringing it up, and you're like hyper attuned to it and you want so badly. I think I had a realization a couple of years ago that was like, if someone's mad at you but they're not bringing it up, it might be because they know that they don't have a good reason. Because I'll be thinking about it, I'll be like, I want to bring it up, but on the other hand, if we have a conversation about it, what I think they're mad about, I feel like I'm in the right and they're in the wrong. And so I'll just be like, well, I don't believe I did anything wrong. And that would be so shitty of me to be like, hey, are you mad at me about this thing? And for them to be like, you know what? Yes, it is bothering me. And me to be like, okay, well, I didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, well, never mind. Didn't
So
mean to
that's
ask
all with you and you have to get over that. So I kind of have come to the conclusion that like, it's none of my business. And it is an invasion of privacy for me to try to like force the issue and like force them to get over it.
You can kind of be open, like give opportunities for like a window for them to say something. But yeah, I agree with that. Like sometimes it does feel like you're looking for a fight. If it's not something you have to resolve, you're just like, okay, well, I want to talk about this thing and force you to talk about it and we're going to fight now.
Yeah. And yeah, especially with like non-confrontational people when it's like they haven't gotten their words together and their preferred thing is to like just get over stuff. So I'm like superimposing my preferred thing, which is to talk it out.
Yeah.
And that's like quite controlling and manipulative. But it stresses me out so bad, dude. It stresses me out so bad. I have such a bad fear of abandonment with friendships. I was on a date recently and we had an interesting conversation and I was like, you know how people constantly talk about like having an anxious attachment style with like romantic partners, that
That's
they just
me.
like approach romance with a level of paranoia and stuff. And like,
Yeah.
I have that. I'm super secure in romantic relationships, but I do approach friendships that way. I just have like a constant fear of abandonment. I never feel very secure in my friendships. I perceive every tiny change in behavior as like a fundamental threat to them. And like, this person's leaving me. It's because I've had like 3 friendships over the course of my entire life and I didn't see it coming. And to this day, I don't super understand the real reason why. And so now I'm just like, that could happen at any time. And the fact is, the beauty and whimsy of life is that it could happen at any time. Like, people can just fucking leave you. And that's what makes them staying all the more special every day.
Yeah.
You can tell this is the ranting of a mad woman because
You're
I'm
like, people
on the
can just
brink.
leave you.
Yeah.
They can get up.
I mean, if you were to take the exact same wording but flip it between romantic and friendship, I'm literally the exact same way as
Yeah.
you. Like, I feel very secure in my friendships, but I feel no secure. I feel absolutely not secure at all in anything with romance. The second something happens, I feel every single slight change is like, oh, you don't like me anymore. Like, I definitely feel the exact same way, just flip-flopped. Like, it makes sense.
And I think it's because like during those formative years, like I had tumultuous friendships because I didn't understand so much of like how to be a good friend and just like social cues in general. But like I didn't have any romance to like traumatize me during that period. I didn't have any romance into my life until I was like 19 and was like old enough and like had a grip on the world I just had like lucky, stable experiences with that. So I just like never got trained that like people will fuck you over. But I do feel that way about friends and about group dynamics. It's so hard, dude.
I feel that.
Group dynamics are hard.
Yeah, they are. It is. Honestly, my like best friends are Kate Strobel and Salma Zaki. It's on the record. Kate and Salma. No.
Famously early guests of the pod.
But like I feel secure with them now, and they're like the closest friends I've had. I have other close friends, but there's that like, oh, you didn't tell me about that one thing, and it's like you have to remember that people aren't always thinking about you every single second of your life, even though they should. Sometimes you have to remember like, oh, like they were gonna tell me later, and then you have to like having like 3 friends or like a group of friends where you don't get invited to everything, which I have like friend groups like that because you might cancel. I don't know why I'm saying you. I'm like, I might cancel plans or something. And then it's like, oh, they might not invite me like next time, but they'll get it like the next time. And it's like weird letting those things go, like taking things personally.
Yeah.
And being affected like by every little thing, being like, oh my God, like they don't want to hang out with me anymore. But that's probably not the case.
Well, and I'm obsessed with morality. And because I was raised like religious, I'm like, I don't feel like a good person by default. And I'm always looking at everything in the world as like this sign that I'm going to finally figure out that I'm a bad person. And so any type of conflict that I have with anyone, I just immediately am like, is this the sign that shows me that I'm actually the worst person alive and I need to change fundamentally? But I think I realized more recently that like interpreting every conflict in the world through the lens of like what it says about my morality and my character is actually narcissism at the end of the day. Because it's like a lot of conflicts are like simply not about me. A lot of conflicts are like other people start and ends in their own head, and they just like feel weird about things. And like if you approach that with empathy and compassion, I don't know, it's scary to be like, what if this is not about me? Because it feels like I'm being blind to my own, there's a possibility I'm being blind to my own character defects. But I feel like if I have looked at my actions and I have a level of confidence of like, okay, I feel like I didn't do anything wrong, then you have to look at the situation and be like, okay, like what are other causes? What's happening in this person's life that could cause those feelings?
Have you just checked in with this person being like, oh, hey, how are you? Like lately?
Yeah, we literally had a friendly exchange today. They're not mad at me. I just, and it's literally over the tiniest thing. Like if I told you guys the actual story, you would find it laughable at the end of the day. But I think it's just because like this person's so important to me. And I do genuinely believe that like I'll just never have any sense of security that they're not going to like randomly be like, I don't like you anymore. So I'm the crazy girlfriend essentially. And I have no reason to believe my friend is cheating, but I'm like searching through their phone kind of thing.
I get that. But I think just like sorry. I worked earlier today, so if I can't talk, that's why. But just like their feelings are valid, like so are yours. And you might be feeling that way for whatever reason, and you need to work through that too. So you could talk to them about it, or you can talk to another friend or whatever. But I get that feeling. You're like, oh, I feel like someone's hiding something from me, and I really want to know. But sometimes you have to like work through those feelings of letting that go. But also, maybe you should take your friend's phone and see what's up.
Maybe you should just take your friend's phone, period, and be like, talk to me or else you're not getting this back.
Quite possibly. Okay, what's stomach bugs and Mount Everest?
So I had a rough stomach bug this past weekend. I thought I was pregnant because I would get horribly sick in the morning, take a nap, and like, I would still feel nauseous, but I like wouldn't be like sick the rest of the day for like 3 whole days straight. I was like, girl, what is going on? And everybody was like, you're pregnant. I'm like, I would love that because at least it's an answer. I to this day don't know what it is. I thought it was a weed thing. I thought it was food poisoning. I thought it was because I had kimchi. I opened a new jar of kimchi, but I swear to God it was $10. If that's gone, I'm gonna be
Wait,
pissed.
why are you blaming the kimchi specifically?
I don't know because
Do you hate Korean people?
Oh my gosh! No. Don't say it
Why
on the
did you
pod. No.
jump to the kimchi?
Because
No, because for real, because I know you didn't just eat kimchi the
No,
day
'cause
before. You
there
ate
are-
other stuff.
No,
you probably
maybe
ate Taco
because
Bell
you only ate kimchi for 3 days
straight.
straight.
That could be it. That could be
and
it.
that actually will give you a
And
stomach
that
bug. It
you
turns
will have
out.
diarrhea for quite a while.
I
after.
have it down to 2 foods that could have given it to me because I remember what I ate the day before I got sick, and I had
Okay.
leftovers, which I had already had the leftovers before, so I doubt it was those. I had
Okay, but
Was it another day past?
bacteria grows on the leftovers. Like they get.
yeah, but it stayed in the fridge the whole time, so I can't imagine.
You,
No.
You know that it still grows in the fridge.
But-
It's just slower.
Because like you're like going in on it, unless you like poured it into a bowl.
It was like a separate container. I didn't like eat from the same container,
Oh,
so I
okay,
tried to
okay,
handle
okay.
that pretty well. It could be that. I'm not saying it's not.
Right,
Yeah.
but lower chance.
Yeah, and then I also had a new dozen of eggs and then kimchi and ice cream. I tested the ice cream yesterday. I didn't get sick this morning. So
How do
it
you
wasn't
test
the
ice cream?
I just had it.
Oh,
I just had it. I like took the risk. I was like, Calvin, if you wake up sick,
I
bitch,
was
you know what it was.
I was imagining like a fentanyl test strip. Like in my mind, you were like lead testing it. And I was like, what the fuck?
No, I
was
literally
like
just
a-
opened it up and I was like, if I wake up in the morning sick, we know it was the ice
Have
cream
you
baby.
tested the eggs yet?
I'm too nervous to. The eggs and the kimchi, I'm nervous because I love kimchi and I love eggs and I don't want either one of those to make me puke again because I love them both so much.
have you had issues with like food in general, like
No.
food sensitivities before?
No.
I wonder.
No, normally when I puke, I'm a one-time puker. I hate the one time because my body being dramatic, like dry heaves for 2 minutes afterwards, and then my diaphragm hurts and I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I'm not normally a puker. I've got a strong stomach.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just a one-time thing, random. Like
That's what a girl hopes.
Yeah, hopefully it
Yeah.
was a virus. Because I would hate for you to walk around so fucking racist the rest of your life.
Yeah,
And hate-
that would be
no,
rough.
literally, because my racist tendencies need to stay behind the closet. They don't need to come out. And then I just love Mount Everest. I'm reading a book about it right now. I literally am obsessed with Mount Everest. I think it's the coolest fucking thing.
Hell yeah.
So many people have died there, and their bodies can't get recovered.
I think
That's
it's
so
so
wild.
whenever someone has hiked Mount Everest, I think less of them.
Same, because
You
I'm like, you're
think
stupid. Like, how?
less?
What's your
Yeah.
hubris?
Because you think that they're possibly rich. Does
I think
like
that they
ring a-
are rich, and I think
Yeah.
that they have weird ideas of what's cool and interesting to do with their life and time and money.
Sure. I don't. Is there an estimate in your book on like how much it costs to hike Mount Everest?
yeah, it's about 60. This book was written in 1996.
Okay.
It's
About
in there
$60.
by
Yeah, I was like, that's a great deal.
It was 65,000 in 1996 for that specific like
Like to have
expedition.
a Sherpa to
yeah.
for all the
I've
food.
heard 10,000 plus. So I think
It
depending on what
depends, yeah.
experience you want to have and how all inclusive you're imagining it, 10 to 65,000. So it is definitely only rich people, and the vast majority of them are not doing anything particularly impressive because they're just the Sherpa like gives them everything that they need to and like takes them up there, and it's a terrible industry that's bad for the indigenous people, right? Question mark.
Yeah, the guy who wrote it is a white guy who like did the expedition, but he got the expedition paid for by his job, so he wasn't rich, and there was only one other not rich person on his thing. So he has like a different perspective, but he's still like a white guy in the 90s, so like take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
He said that in some ways it's helped them, but in other ways it's harmed them. Like they have way more clinics now than they ever would have had because so many people are exposed to it. But they are also
But that's filled with
Like
with
it-
white people who can't breathe.
I broke my ankle.
yeah, and then it's like and it's such an influx of people during the on season. It's like 15,000 people going through these villages. Like they're not cities, they're villages in the mountains,
And like
right?
using their resources.
Exactly. So it's definitely like a hit or miss,
and
but it's
being
interesting
annoying as fuck, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all like tech guys.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm eating it
Wow.
up. I watched the movie. I'm reading the book. When I'm done with the book, I'm going to watch the movie again. I listen to podcasts about Everest.
Wow.
I love Everest.
I think it's interesting. I think thrill seeking in general is interesting. Like it just goes up it's levels. Like I like to roller skate. I don't as much anymore. I had a phase where I was like, oh, it like makes me feel something when I drop into a bowl and I like, you know, pick up speed and then I get some air. And then there's like snowboarding, which is like another level. And then there's like some things you can just like do it without having very much money. And then snowboarding, definitely skiing. It's like you're trying to be active and then also get that adrenaline rush. And then you have to have a certain amount of money to do it.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. Why do we want like seek these things out to feel alive?
That's what the book. That's the question the book asks. No, you literally just like buy it from Second
Do
and
you
Charles.
want to do you want to fuck a priest or do you want to fuck God?
Both, darling. No.
Oh, yes, you can.
You
can have it all.
Oh yeah, I like thrill seeking on a much lower level. I was gonna, never mind. Oh God, I'm in a terrible
What? I have to
state
know
of
what you're
mind.
gonna say.
Yeah.
I
I
was
don't know.
trying to kind of like make a joke about how my level of thrill seeking, because you were talking about like roller skating, snowboarding, Everest, and mine is like much smaller because I don't like thrill seeking normally. I don't like roller coasters at all.
Oh, I love roller coasters. That's
But
that
sometimes
horror
I
movies.
take a turn just a little bit faster than the speed limit for the turn says you should.
That's thrill seeking.
Sometimes you drive on the wrong side of traffic. That is truly
That
thrilling.
is.
I had adrenaline kick into my mind earlier today. Let me tell you, I'm like scared of heights, so I would never do something like Everest. But I think the reason why people do it is really interesting to me because I would never. Like, I'm like, why would you want to conquer that? But it's interesting that people do. Like, I just think the psychology behind it is so interesting because
Yeah.
so many people die. Like, there's someone with green boots. It's their corpse, and it's called
Yes,
He's a
green
Landmark.
boots.
Like, you walk by green boots as like a part of your trail, and that's a human being. And people just, I'm like, do you not comprehend like what you're doing? The highest I would ever go is the Mount Everest base camp. That's
How
the
high
highest.
is that?
And it's at like 16,700 feet, so it's still above Pikes Peak.
That's yeah.
Okay.
But that's not like crazy.
That's the highest I would go, just because the rest of it's like, to me, it's not worth the risk. I go on roller
Mm-hmm.
coasters because those have been tested. I watch horror movies because they're in my house. Like I'm not a huge thrill seeker
Yeah.
outside of it.
I think I used to love roller coasters as a kid, and my dad did the classic like, do it, come on, and he
Yeah.
like tricked me to. I don't know what he did to trick me to go on, but then I was like, I love this, and
Same,
all
yeah.
as a kid, I like did stuff like that. But now I'm afraid of them because of I just think Final Destination moments all the time, and especially
Valid.
like here, there's Lakeside that has like the really old rickety roller coasters.
The chipmunk, that one is so terrifying.
I did it last year and we took the turn and I was like, oh my God, my body is already just in pain from that one turn, just like the whiplash of
Yep.
it. And like me thinking like, oh my gosh, we could just be like, wah.
I went to Lakeside, and the only ride that I rode, because I don't like rides, we did the one where you like go up slow and then it drops you.
That's my least favorite ride.
And I hated it.
I
was
don't like that one.
Here's the thing. Some people get endorphins from the anxiety.
Yeah.
Sure, I guess, whatever. Me personally, not at all. It's just uncomfortable and not pleasurable.
I
Yeah.
hate the free. I don't like a free fall. I hate
No.
and the one at Lakeside is worse because to the listeners, Lakeside's great, but not this ride. It cracks once you get to the top. It sounds like something's breaking.
It does. It's
It's
and
like-
then
it's
it
actually
pauses
scary.
for
Like an
such an
audio.
eerie amount of time.
It's really scary. Like
It's
that ride sucks.
brutal. Why do they? I like a Ferris wheel.
I like there's the spinny one that it doesn't you control the like speed of the spin.
The teacup.
There's that one, but there was like this one that goes up and down and it spins, and it's
Oh.
like a heart cage, and you go in.
Yes, I know what one you're talking about.
That
Yeah.
one I really like, and I do like getting a little dizzy for some reason.
When I go to Lakeside, I do have to take a Dramamine because I get motion sickness at Lakeside, but no other amusement parks, and you can tell it's because Lakeside is the most cheaply built rides. But I like the roller coasters, but I like it when I know that there's a level of like safety there. I don't like keep me buckled in, no free falling. I want to be on a track. I don't don't want to go upside down if I don't have to. Like, I'm picky, but I do like roller coasters.
Yeah, it Lakeside is very specific too, because you're watching these teenagers run these rides, and you're like, okay, sure, I'll trust a 15-year-old with my life.
Yep.
Okay, before we get into the questions, we have shows coming up. Get on my text list if you want to see me in Nashville, Savannah, Myrtle Beach, New York City, Boston, Philly, or anywhere in Texas. I'll have those ticket links up soon, but the best way to come to any of those shows is to get on my text list.
And I will be vibing throughout Denver for Pride Month. So if you want to see some gays perform, I know one show that's coming to mind is the Bug Theater on the 22nd. So do Denver Pride during the day and then come to the Bug Theater for that nighttime show. The lineup is fire, but other Pride shows throughout the month too.
Cute. Gabby, you have something big coming up.
Yes, it's a huge project I'm working on. I am filming a pilot with my sketch group this summer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's called Paranormal. It's like paranormal, but with 2 L's, because it's a paranormal mall.
Cute.
And
Oh, I love that.
yeah, and we've been writing it for like a year and a half. We have the cinematographer secured. We have like the whole crew. We got a freaking mall to say we could film in there.
Which mall?
The Cherry Creek Mall.
Wow.
Ooh, bougie.
They have an escalator, which is a big
I ride
is
it every
a
day.
part of the story.
No,
you
I
ride
don't.
it every
What?
day.
No.
That's your thrill seeking. You're like, what? Now I get to go back down. Yeah, I'm so excited. And on this Thursday, so I don't know when this will be released, but we'll have our Seed and Spark film fundraising campaign. So we're trying to raise a whole bunch of money for it. And yeah, we're really leaning on community to make this happen. It's an indie project.
You should definitely donate to make that pilot happen. We'll have the link to that campaign in the podcast description. Also, this podcast is sponsored by the Patreon. Patrons have first priority to get their questions answered, and they also receive a bonus episode every month, and it's only $3 at patreon.com/HannahJonesCool.
If you want to ask a question to get answered in a future episode, you can find the link to that form in the podcast description or on any of our link trees or on any of our social media platforms.
Alrighty, Gabby, are you ready for some questions?
I'm ready.
All right. Advice for being away from your partner for extended periods of time during the summer. We've been together 9 months and live at the same apartment complex and study the same thing, and I don't think we've gone more than like 3 days without seeing each other. I will be out of the country for a month, along with other things and travels that will keep us from being able to see each other. I'm nervous. Signed, Nervous Nancy Abroad.
Break up. No, I'm just kidding. No,
That's what a lot of people do, but
it is.
you don't have to.
It's like a month. Like, that doesn't seem like enough to like.
That's not very long at all.
Yeah, that's very temporary.
Yeah, and that it'll probably be like really healthy. If a month sounds scary, then it'll probably be so good for you to feel that distance and to get a little bit of a recharge time by yourself.
Yeah, and okay, so if you see each other every 3 days, that is a great chance to like get to know yourself better. I don't know how old this person is, but maybe it's time to like, you know, really put energy into the new friendships that you're going to have. Like, it really does mean a lot to connect with people other than your partner, the person that you're seeing romantically, because there are romantic connections that mean a lot. But I mean, I really lean on my friends when I'm going through things. It's not just a partner.
Yeah, I would say that if it was a longer period of time, we'd give you advice for how to keep the flame alive long distance. But a month is really an amount of time where you should just like not prioritize Zooming with you, FaceTiming with your partner. You should like actually really, really enjoy your experience abroad and like prioritize making new friends and stuff. Because it sounds like you're college age and it sounds like you're doing some sort of like internship or study abroad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had friends who were in college and they like lived with their or they didn't live with their significant others, but it was like the same apartment complex. There's definitely like a convenience there that is really, really nice, but that's
Yeah.
hard to have in the real world. So it's also a good prep for what post-graduation could look like if you want to continue dating. Like after that, like you might live 30 minutes apart. You might live an hour apart. Jobs might take you to different states where it's just like longer bouts where you have to see each other. And like just a month where, you know, you can see each other again. It gives you something to look forward to, but then it lets you like sit and vibe with it. And yeah, I agree with both of you. Like make friends during that time and really focus on that.
And I would also say, like, if I were you, I would be less afraid of like drifting apart, because that's not super likely to happen in a month. I would be somewhat cautious of smothering a partner and asking for more of their time when they're doing something separately. Because I've seen this happen so much, especially back in college, where one person goes to a very fun place and makes a lot of friends very quickly, and the other person goes to a very lonely place, and the person in the lonely place wants to FaceTime all the time, and then the other person feels smothered and they break up because of it.
Yeah.
And just like be aware that that's the most common dynamic in the planet when you're in college, and be wary of it.
Yeah.
And be wary of being that person who's smothering the relationship that's important to them, and just like really challenge yourself to make the best of your abroad experience.
Yeah. And I know only one person in the relationship is going to hear this, but maybe they'll share it eventually. But like, you'll both be having new experiences and you might grow apart, but be supportive of those new experiences. And
Yeah.
because people that aren't supportive, I mean, I remember there was nothing wrong with my college boyfriend, but I remember I got into stand up and he was supportive enough, but like didn't come to shows, didn't really take interest in what I was doing. And I think like if you really do care about someone, you take interest in what they're doing, they take interest in what you're doing, and you grow apart together.
Yeah.
I have heard from a million people, either my partner smothered me when I was having new experiences, they wouldn't let me grow and change, and it was awful and we broke up, or like I did that and I really regret it. I have never heard from anyone in the world like, yeah, I think the end of our relationship was we spent a month apart and we just didn't talk enough to really stay connected. Like, I've just never heard anyone say that. So I think it's far more likely that you might make the mistake of not allowing each other enough independence.
Yeah.
And it can give you so much to talk to when you like come back. Like, I think that's one of the best parts
Yeah.
about like a long distance best friend is like you're excited to see them all the time because you always have something to catch up on because there's always something new. And that can keep you like excited to see that person rather than like nervous. Like, be excited to share the new experiences, and then they can share you. Like, if they're staying in town, maybe they do something really cool with their friends. And like, I think that can be something to channel that nervous energy into more excitement.
Absolutely. Sweet. I think we crushed that one.
Hell yeah.
Boom.
Question number 2.
How can I get started in writing stand-up and writing comedy in general? I feel like I would benefit from the environment of a writer's room, but I can't find groups nearby, and the Facebook groups I joined aren't very active. Signed, feeling bested in Burke.
Where's Burke?
I was about to ask
Yeah,
that.
I
Where's
don't know.
Burke?
I'm going to look it up. You guys talk.
Okay.
When did you start comedy? You said college?
Yeah, 2016 at the very end of college.
That's crazy. I started writing comedy. Like, I wanted to do stand-up in college. My first acting professor was like, you should, like, you're funny. I think you should lean into stand-up. And I started writing stuff.
Cool.
Like, in college, I have yet to say any of it because the first stuff you write will never be your best stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what got me started, was just like writing some stuff down that I thought I would like to tell people.
Burke
True.
is an unincorporated section of Fairfax County, Virginia, traditionally defined as the area served by the Burke Post Office. The census population is 42,000 people in 2020. That's so small.
Very
That's
small.
the smallest place I've literally ever heard of. I'm gonna be honest. If there's any possible way that you can move to a city, I mean, I think Denver's the best place to do comedy personally, but any city around the size of Denver, such as Chicago, Atlanta.
There's comedy in Virginia. I mean,
Sure.
I've heard from
But-
people.
North Carolina has a great
I was
comedy
just gonna
scene,
say
yeah.
that.
But
Yeah.
if you're specifically saying I would benefit from the environment of a writer's room, you're going to need enough people doing stand up that you like some of them. Because I'll be honest, the reason that I didn't do stand up all the places that I lived before I got to Denver was because there was not enough comics and I hated all of them. And if you show up to an open mic and there's only 15 comics in town, it's like so easy to hate them all because half of them are going to be like, drunk dudes who aren't worth being around. That's just par for the course,
Yes.
right? The other half might be cool, but you don't know whether you'll vibe with them personally. If there's only 15 comics in town, there might only be like one woman, you know? So if you can move, absolutely do. If you can't move, there are Zoom writers groups that exist.
That's true. I bet you could go on Meetup. Meetup is like a great website for meeting people, and there are writers groups that are Zoom, and you might meet someone that you really like, and then you could just be writing partners. You don't have to do the Zoom every time.
Yeah.
But it is asking yourself the question, how badly do you want to do this thing? And what are you willing to do to participate in a community that does it? But, you know, this might not be a popular option. But if you wanted to get a stand-up scene started in your tiny town, that's an option. It would be hard, especially if you don't have experience or someone to like mentor you or look up to. The good thing about like moving to a place like Denver is you get to see professional comedians doing their best. And then you're like, that's my goal. Maybe.
Yeah. So you're gonna need to find some way to expand the numbers of who you have around you. You can do that by moving. You can do that by going online, maybe taking an online class. You could also do that by not focusing in on comedy writing and just try to find writers groups point blank. Maybe you'll find someone you vibe with who writes novels and they can read your comedy and tell you whether it's funny or not. That could work. But you're going to have to make some sort of compromise. But I would say classes are always a great place to start because it provides a more structured environment for meeting people. And especially like if you're trying to get to know people online, a comedy class that happens over Zoom would definitely connect you with other people who are starting out.
I think that's a great way to do it. And if you're like not ready to move, that's totally understandable. You can always start something. It's hard, but you can. But you can also, I mean, nothing stops you from, you know, watching the tapes or the specials that you can, like on Netflix if you have that, or, you know, writing just like what you might think is funny. If you can just get your brain working in that, you'll be surprised, I think, at how much you can grow from just doing that.
Yeah.
And get on Twitter.
Twitter.
Twitter is the open mic of the online, of the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
It's just jokes. Comics from every scene have a Twitter, and you really do. Twitter's the last social media where it is kind of expected that you will make friends with strangers, and you'll just like see people in your timeline a lot, and then you'll become mutuals, and then they'll be like a friend of yours. And I feel like on every other social media, you don't actually make friends. You just kind of like watch each other in a weird way
I agree.
and communicate with the people you're already friends with in real life. So, but yeah, good luck. It's an exciting time. And hopefully you have a lot of fun. Alrighty, last question. And this one is a long one. This one is a saga. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Do it.
Okay. A few weeks ago, my ex and I decided to try things again. In the spirit of a clean slate, I thought it the most respectful and honest thing to do to let her know that I had hooked up with someone in the few months we'd been broken up. The timing of when I hooked up with this person was admittedly not great, but no cheating or anything cheating adjacent ever occurred. My ex said she didn't care, she just wanted to work things out because we were still in love. I'm a very private person regarding my sex life because of some trauma in my history. In even beginning that convo about getting back together, she promised me all would stay between us. It didn't. She almost immediately ran and told all of her/my friends who I'd been with. Those people have all proceeded to treat me in public and speak about me in private as if I am the scum of the earth. It upsets me because A, I'm a grown fucking woman and no one should feel entitled to an opinion about what I do with my body in the presence of another consenting grown-ass woman. And B, frankly, those bitches have all done or are currently doing so much worse. But further, I can't shake this rage over my ex violating my trust. I get it. That hookup was hurtful to her, and frankly, I wish it hadn't happened. She didn't have to forgive me or work it out with me, but she chose to do so, so I chose to give her honesty. When I tell her how much it hurts that she trashed my reputation and continues to spend time with the people who now think so little of me, she says she wasn't trying to hurt me. She was trying to hurt the person I slept with and either didn't realize or didn't care that I would be collateral. Now, I've been living with that rage for months. She still won't call me her girlfriend, but she does shit like bring me to her home state to meet her family. She spends time with me, she spends time with our friends alone, and is sneaky about it because she knows it pisses me off that she spends time with people who talk shit about me and spread rumors. Actual rumors, even though they claim the truth to be a scandal worth ending me for its own right. About the relationship that supposedly broke are trying to rebuild. Am I wrong for feeling betrayed? I get it. She felt betrayed first. But if I had known the soft spot of, I just love you, we can face anything together, just tell me, I promise we'll get through it, thing was bullshit to make me put my guard down and give her ammo to control and manipulate me with, I would have stayed away. Signed, the Scarlet Lesbian.
This person's not the person who wrote the story, but the person they're talking about sounds like they kind of suck.
Yeah, honestly, it sounds like the end of what that person just said kind of answered the question. 100%. If I had known that that wasn't true, if that wasn't what she really felt, I would have stayed away. And I mean, the only thing, like, if you're like, I can't let go of this relationship, I feel like I've never been in couples therapy, but like having someone that isn't your friends tell you like, oh, she's just being crazy, like you're fine, you can keep like gossiping with us and it doesn't matter how she feels about it, like that's so incredibly rude. I don't understand why you'd want to be with someone who, I'm not saying this in a bad way, like how could you want to be with them, but like how could that person, but how could that person like treat you that way with a good conscience? And like, if they really care about you, they would like actually be there for you.
Yeah. There's two sides to every story. Mm-hmm. And one thing that was really left out is there's a reason why your ex/current girlfriend hates this other person. And you did not mention what that might be. Mm-hmm. My question would be like, if it is a person, and none of this I think excuses what your ex did, but if it is a person that your ex always hated or was very close to, mm-hmm. and you sleeping with them was an additional betrayal, not because you slept with someone new, not because you cheated, but because that was an insane thing to do. Mm. And you're just conveniently leaving that out of this story, I think potentially you should interrogate that. And if you're being mm-hmm. super honest with yourself and you're taking full accountability, because you say like, everyone thinks that I should be ended over this, but it just feels like something's missing. Either you are surrounded by absolutely crazy people who are not working with any speck of rationality, in which case, get yourself a new friend group. Yes. Get yourself the fuck away from every single person in this story. Or it sounds a little bit like maybe there were some details that were too long and complicated to include.
Yeah, now I'm wondering, like, is this the queer season of The Ultimatum?
I was thinking, literally, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Because literally it does sound like the betrayal and the reason everyone's mad at you is something that wasn't quite included in here. Nonetheless, what it all comes down to is this relationship is over because you said, don't tell this secret. Your ex told the secret anyway. You said, hey, you told that secret. That was a blatant betrayal and violation. And your ex was like, oh no, and made excuses. So there's no basis for trust. Your ex cannot be trusted to keep promises. That relationship is fully dead. You can't trust them to do anything. You can't trust them to like abide by the basic tenets of a relationship.
Yeah, if they can't let the fact that you hooked up with someone they might not like or whatever the history is, it's not gonna work.
And if they have a whole friend group of people who hate you, it's not gonna fucking work. You're gonna move on. You're gonna make new friends. You're gonna have new lovers. But I do have a question. What's that thing you didn't include? And
I'm so curious.
have you faced up to it? Have you owned up to it? And really taken accountability for everything.
Yeah, because if it was somebody that was like kind of a no-no person, I don't know why, but what's coming to my mind is when Rachel slept with Mark after her and Ross broke up. I don't know why, but it's kind of like I could see why Ross would be hurt because Mark was the person he was always jealous about.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that just like went to my head. So if it's like a no person, I can see their anger. But the thing that's pissing me off the most, and maybe it's just because I love the Chaperone song, but she still won't call me her girlfriend, but she does shit like bring me home to her home state and meet her family.
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like you're not like I don't know that. What are your thoughts, Hannah?
I have a different vibe on that because it sounds like you're all in a friend group and it sounds like you were friends before. It sounds like you were friends outside of because why do you have so many mutual friends if you weren't friends outside the relationship?
Lesbians.
And so it's like, yeah. If you're in a big lesbian friend group, like, yeah, there are people whose parents I have met or would meet. That's just not always like you got your answer, you're not her girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so thinking like, oh, but the parents thing, it's like the parents thing is totally irrelevant. That happened on a friend level. That didn't happen on a girlfriend level because she was honest with you that you're not her fucking girlfriend.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, to me, if you're like having an affair or if you're sleeping with somebody and they're meeting family and you call them a friend, just personally, I would be hurt by that.
Yeah.
But that's also because I have like I've had my parents have met friends. They've never once met someone I'm like attracted to. And that would be like a big thing for me. So like it would be hard to reciprocate.
My parents have met friends who I have fucked and I wasn't oh, this is my friend who I fucked and we're not going to be together.
Yeah, but are they just fucking or are they in a relationship? Like, is this
They're not in a relationship. They don't like each other. They hate each other.
Yeah.
But then like them having a talk about it and being like, oh, I don't care. But then you're claiming that you said that my ex. So then, like, there was a relationship. Like, it just seems like it's really messy.
It is messy.
The ex is messy, emotionally immature, not to be trusted, not to have in your life. You have been wronged. You have been wronged in a profoundly hurtful way. And I wish you all the best moving forward. But I think it's also possible that you are the victim here of a lot of people's unearned ire. And also that you did something wrong that you're not including. I think that's quite possible as well.
Yeah. Or it could have just or kind of adding to the person being emotionally immature, they said it was fine when it wasn't. Like, if they told you it was fine, I can see why at face value you should think it's fine. But then if they're telling their friends, maybe they didn't think it was fine. But that just adds to them being emotionally immature and not the right person for you.
Yeah, it's weird to hear that you're being gossiped about from other people. I don't know.
If it was like her best friend,
that's what I'm wondering.
That becomes a conflict between her and her best friend that you don't have control over. Like I had an ex who they passed. No.
Wait, what?
I had an ex who like broke a promise to me, and the way that I like found out, I was like, I have to be able to like tell this person that I know this, like, because I was like, I'm sorry, they broke a promise to me, like that this conflict is like bigger than like, oh, please keep it a secret, you know, if that makes sense.
Total sense. Yes.
So it's like, if it's one of those scenarios, I can understand a little bit more why there are so many sides to this story. It's totally possible that everyone in this story is crazy psychopath but you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that a lot of times in the world when we have a few years to look back on things, we realize all the different elements that went into it.
Yeah. Bottom line is, who wants to be around people that make you feel bad?
Totally. You need all new people in your life. It is imperative that you cut everyone in this story out.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us and listening today. You can find me at Hannah Jones Cool.
You can find me at Calvin Reed, REID_.
And Gabby, where can people find you and the fundraiser for your paranormal pilot?
Yes, my personal Instagram is at Shish Kebab. My sketch group is at Bedtime Worldwide, and we'll have the link in that bio. And you can also look up paranormal online, or if you're like, I need your website, go to gabbygr.com, and there's all the information on there too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.